I'm Sal.
I'm Beth.
With the Brewery Lovers. Still in Maine. We are in York, Maine. Cape Nettic. What's the name of the lighthouse?
Nubble.
Nubble. It's called the Nubble because it's on Nubble Island. One of the most photographed lighthouses probably in the world. To tell you about how many breweries can you visit in Portland, Maine in one afternoon, especially if it's a Tuesday and a lot of the breweries are closed. We figured it out. How many did we do?
We did 6 breweries yesterday, 5 in Portland.
5 in Portland. The 6 was in Freeport?
Freeport.
Okay.
Just north of Portland.
So we also did a total of 9, right? In the state?
In the state.
All right, so
in a week.
We'll run down Portland first. You have the list.
I have the list.
Yeah, you go.
Well, we stopped first at a pub called King's Head.
King's Head, yeah, because we knew a lot of the breweries are going to be closed. So it's like, go to a pub, then you can sample beers from breweries that are not open. And that worked out because we found
Bangor and Four River.
Four River was phenomenal. It was an IPA, super clean, super dry, just really delicious. So that's on the list to visit when the breweries actually open. So that worked out. They also had decent food. It's a cool place, a lot of beer taps. It's right on the wharf. Lobster boats in the background, kind of a classic place to sit and have a Portland experience. Then what?
Then we went to 2 that were literally right next to each other.
Yeah, it was kind of by accident. We were shooting for Good Fire, right?
Shooting for Good Fire and found we were right on top of Lone Pine as well.
Yeah, almost confused because the GPS was like, your destination's on the right. And we're like, well, wait a minute, that's not Good Fire, that's Lone Pine. But they were like in the same building.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta love Portland. You can't swing a cat here without hitting a brewery. It's pretty cool. So, Good Fire was very good. We had a couple IPAs there, I believe.
Yeah, and we'd had canned tastings from Lone Pine throughout the week.
Right, and then Lone Pine, it was like mostly a big beer garden. And I asked the guy, like, where's the brewery? He goes, oh, we outgrew this brewery. It used to be here, but now it's out in Gorham. So now it's just a tasting room in Portland. They have a lot of beers. We only had one, which was a Citra-y, Mosaic-y, hazy. It was good.
It was called OJ, and it was double dry hopped with Mosaic.
Oh, right. It was a DDH OJ. Yeah, it was very good. But they have a ton of different stuff, big selection. And the tasting room, the beer garden, I should say. There is also a tasting room in there, but the beer garden's really nice in Portland. Then we went down to, we had passed Austin Street, which we didn't think was open, and it was, so we ducked in there and found that right next to Austin Street was a brewery called
Rising Tide.
It's like, man, you gotta love this place.
They were almost right next
Almost
to each other.
right
There
next
was
to
like
one
a
another.
repair shop in between,
Yeah, just
but
some
that was
little
it.
thing. It was you could see one from the other. Beer was solid at both. I think I liked Austin Street a little bit better. They tended to be a little bit more dry for me. But the flight boxes were cool at
Rising Tide.
Yeah.
Cute little flight boxes.
And both places were crowded. I don't know if they have food at Austin Street, but there's a food truck, which is not really a food truck. It's a truck that's like part of the landscape there, permanent. And the
Been
guy
converted to a pizza.
Yeah, open fire pizza oven. Pizzas looked really good. We didn't have one, but they looked really, really good.
We were holding out for lobster roll.
Holding out for lobster roll. Then we headed over.
Which we got.
Which we got. We headed over to
Bellflower,
Bellflower,
which is only about a mile away from the.
Yeah, not far. We didn't walk it, but it was a real quick drive. Really liked Bellflower a lot, both the beer and the vibe. Very comfortable place, my kind of place where you could kind of hang out. And we met some, beer nuts like us from Pennsylvania. Had a nice conversation with them, and we got some new tips from them. By the way, if you have tips for breweries for us, put them in the comments because we read them and we do take them seriously. And what else? Bellflower. We had our lobster roll. They don't serve lobster rolls.
DoorDash delivered it to us right there at the brewery.
We had a delivery. That was excellent. And that was it for Portland, right?
Yep, that's everything.
But in Freeport, we had also done, of course, Maine Beer Company. You can't come to Maine without doing Maine Beer Company. Some people would say you can't come to Maine without doing Allagash, which we did not do because I think they were closed.
Allagash was closed on Tuesday.
The day that we had available to do Allagash, we couldn't. But Maine Beer Company, pretty spectacular, both in terms of beer and place. I mean,
and food and soda.
Yeah, good
the
soda.
blueberry soda was awesome too.
Straight ahead, super dry, super clean, pale ale, IPA, doubles. They might have a Belgian or two, I'm not sure, but the thing about Maine Beer is that, in my view, it's a model brewery. They have a few beers that they do really, really well. They don't try to do 20 beers or 30 or whatever and, kind of have some that are okay and some that are not so okay. Straight ahead, really good beer. The place is a marvel. I mean, you'll see it in the video. That's actually a separate video, which is a feature, which you'll see on the channel. And then Bissell Brothers, we kind of found by accident. Bissell Brothers is in Portland, but the Bissell Brothers grew up near Three River, Milo, up north. And they built their second location there near Milo, which is where they do their wild stuff, wild fermentation. They have a really interesting selection because they have both the straight ahead ale hop program, and then they also have sours and spontaneous fermentation. Beer is really good. So that's a toss-up in terms of which ones we like best, because Maine Beer and Bissell Brothers were both outstanding. And the
Bissell Brothers, the location that we visited is kind of in the middle of nowhere.
It really is.
So it's definitely a destination, but you'll look for the caboose.
I was going to say, it's a brewery with a caboose. What's not to like? No video from Bissell Brothers because it was pouring rain the day we went there, and I didn't want to get the gear out, but you'll see the stills that we took. And that's
the last one, we went to a farm brewery.
Yeah, really cute.
In Munson?
Munson, yeah. Turning Page.
Turning Page.
Cute place, like actual farm. There's goats.
And bees.
They not only make beer, they keep
like
bees.
Beekeepers, not to sting you.
Yeah, they have beehives.
Beehives.
And they have salad dressing and different products that we found in stores around the area, and it's a really cute little place. So definitely worth the trip. Again, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but definitely worthwhile. We had a pretty good experience up here. Want to come back because we want to see Bissell Brothers in Portland. We want to see Allagash. We want to see the breweries that you guys recommend. And we only scratched the surface in Portland. There's a lot of breweries up here, but and the rest of Maine for that matter. It's a big state. But we will be back, and I think that's it.
That's it.
We're not drinking beer because it's early in the morning.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning.
That's an excuse? All right, cheers.
Cheers.